In rodeo, some names carry the weight of history, and the name Hay is one of them. Logan Hay was born into a legacy, the son of Rod Hay, a 20-time NFR qualifier, and brother to Dawson Hay, one of today's fiercest bronc riders. They both had their big moments. They both made history, but the most jaw-dropping bronc ride in modern rodeo didn't come from Rod, it didn't come from Dawson. It came from Logan, a 95.5-point ride that shook the arena and made even the veteran Cowboys stare at the scoreboard in disbelief. And here's the part that stunned everyone. This was the same Cowboy who didn't even qualify for the NFR in 2023. The same guy who rode most of the year with an ankle patched together with bolts and tape. Nobody saw it coming. Not that day, not from him. So now the question is, how did this Canadian Cowboy step into an American-dominated spotlight and blow the doors off? And how do you make history in a sport where legends are born every weekend? Logan Hay once said in an interview, "We've been going to rodeos since before I can remember, before I could walk." He remembers being 5 or 6 years old, playing with the now famous Wright brothers. Back in, they were all just little buddies running around the block. But here's the shocker. Unlike many rodeo prodigies, Logan didn't hop on his first bucking horse when he was a kid. He began riding at 17 years old, a bit of a late bloomer in the sport. His dad, rodeo legend Rod Hay, wanted to make sure Logan and his brother Dawson were strong enough to handle the brutal force of a bronc before they ever climbed on. And that first ride, it was ugly. Logan said, "The first horse I got on rolled on me, and then my brother Dawson went over the head of his horse and got stepped on. And you know what? Those painful and early crashes built the grit that would define him later on as a professional. And that grit was tested hard in 2021. That year, Logan went all in. He hit the road, crisscrossing North America, driving thousands of miles with one goal in mind, making his first ever National Finals rodeo. But when the final standings came out, Logan landed in 17th place, just 2 spots short. But he didn't make excuses. He let the sting sit for a week, then got back to work, more determined than ever to make sure it never happened again. That heartbreak only lit a fire. And what happened next would go down as one of the most incredible seasons in modern rodeo history. When 2022 rolled around, Logan made a promise to himself to get to the top 15 and never fall out. But life had other plans. At the end of March, he broke his ankle, and suddenly, the dream he'd been chasing was hanging by a thread. But an injury couldn't stop the momentum that he was building. By July, Logan had clawed his way back into the top 15, and from that point on, everything shifted. July 2022 wasn't just good for Logan Hay. It was legendary, and it all started at the Calgary Stampede in his home province of Alberta. Now, for any cowboy, Calgary is a big deal, but for a Canadian cowboy like Logan, whose father won the event 4 times, this wasn't just another stop on the tour. This was sacred ground, the kind of place where rodeo dreams feel bigger than the arena itself. Logan once said the atmosphere there is unbelievable. To even qualify is a dream, and the most shocking part is that the Final Four showdown was a complete family affair. It was Logan, his brother Dawson, his cousin Ben Anderson, and one of their closest friends. And Logan had to go first. That meant no room for error, no waiting to see what the others would do. If he wanted to win, he had to set the bar high right from the jump. So he went all in, laid everything he had into that ride. And when it was over, the crowd erupted. He'd just won the Calgary Stampede. To this day, Logan calls it his favorite, most memorable ride. And it's easy to see why. Not just because he won, but because he won at home, in front of the people who watched him grow up, in the same arena where his father carved out his own legacy. But Logan wasn't done. Not even close. Just 2 weeks later, Logan Hay marked his name into the history books forever. At the Hardgrass Bronc match in Pollockville, Alberta, he drew a horse from the Calgary Stampede named Explosive Skies. Now, this wasn't just any horse. Logan had seen her before and called her the rankest horse I'd ever seen. Quite the athlete. So he knew he had to pick her, and boy did they pull off a perfect ride. The timing and control was a masterpiece, and when the dust settled and the score came in, the rodeo world was stunned. 95.5 points, a new world record and highest saddle bronc score ever recorded at that time. It was a banger of a ride that sent shockwaves through the sport. Those 2 wins alone were worth nearly $75,000. It was the ultimate payoff for the heartbreak of the previous year. He had gone from missing the NFR by $1,500 to setting a world record and winning the Calgary Stampede. He punched his ticket to his first ever National Finals rodeo, heading to Las Vegas, ranked 7th in the world with over $139,000 in earnings. Now, making it to the NFR is no small feat. The Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, that's where rodeo dreams either explode or fall apart. The lights are intense, the pressure is overwhelming, and every ride is against the best cowboys in the world. Logan's NFR debut started quietly. He got a score in round 1, but didn't win any money. Still, he was calm. He later said he was just happy to get one under his belt and feel comfortable in the arena. Then came round 5. Logan drew a bronc named Larry Culpepper and lit up the scoreboard with an 89-point ride. He won the round. Then round 6, another win. This time 87.5 points on a horse named Yellowstone. Back-to-back round wins at your first ever NFR? That turns heads. Then came round 7, and yes, he did it again. That's 3 rounds in a row. Even Logan couldn't believe it himself. "Yeah, it's crazy, man," he said. "I never expected it to be as good as it's been going. It's unbelievable." And when they asked him the secret, he said, "I haven't even looked at the standings all week. I just want to keep focusing on my horse that day and stick to my game plan." That mindset kept pushing him forward, and by the end of his rookie NFR, Logan had finished 3rd in the world and earned more than $330,000 for the season. But what happened the following year? No one could have predicted it. Logan Hay entered the 2023 season with sky-high expectations. One minute you're flying sky-high, the next you're flat on your back wondering what went wrong. Logan was in Redden, California when he had a freak accident. It was bad enough for surgery and forced him to step away from riding. While the best in the world were battling out in Vegas that December, Logan was on the sidelines. He ended the year ranked 24th, missing out on the NFR he had so spectacularly conquered just a year before. It was a brutal reminder of how quickly this sport can flip on you. But Logan wasn't done. After the disappointment of 2023, Logan entered the 2024 season with a vengeance. By mid-2024, Logan Hay had ranked 8th in the world standings and was riding exceptionally well. His comeback campaign started way back in October of 2023. At the Brad Germunson Extreme Bronc event, he put up an 86-point ride for a second-place finish, cashing in a cool $4,756 to get the season rolling. Just 2 weeks later in Bismarck, he was at it again. Another 86-point ride, this time splitting the win and adding $6,000 more to his season total. Before the new year even rolled around, Logan had pocketed over $10,000 and was already setting his sights on the Texas swing. And in Texas, he delivered. The highlight came at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, one of the biggest stops on the tour. Logan battled through bracket 4, winning 1 round and placing in 2 others, collecting $6,000 along the way. But it was the championship round where he truly lit it up. He matched up with Calgary Stampede's Tokyo Bubbles, a horse from his home country, and the Canadian duo delivered big. Logan rode to an incredible 87.5 points, securing his first ever Texas swing victory and a massive $21,000 payday. But that was just the warm-up. In June, he returned home for the Wildwood Bronc Busting event. Riding in your hometown comes with a special kind of pressure. In the first round, he scored 90 points to take the lead. Then, for the win, he drew another Calgary Stampede horse, Exotic Warrior. He had been on her before, and he knew she was unpredictable. He said, "Last time I was on her, it was a lot of ducks and dives. This time, she kind of stalled out of the chute and was really bucking after that. It probably looked prettier than it felt." Prettier or not, the judges loved it. They gave him 92.5 points, his highest score of the 2024 season, to claim the hometown victory. Standing there after 2 90-plus point rides in front of his home crowd, he said, "There's not a better feeling." This relentless comeback tour was a success, but it was a battle right to the very end. He fought and found his way back to the big picture. What sets Logan apart isn't just the numbers, it's the way he handles pressure. In the chute, he's calm and focused. He doesn't rush. He syncs with the horse, stays balanced, and lets the ride come to him. That kind of control and insane level of awareness are what made him a star at the NFR and wrote his name into rodeo history. Logan has a strong mindset that he learned from his dad, and his advice to young riders is simple. Just keep chasing your dreams and get on and practice as much as you can. You can go a month or 3 without winning a dime, and it can make you feel like you're not riding well, but you've got to keep your hopes up and keep battling because it will come. That's exactly what Logan is doing. He's heading back to the Thomas and Mack Center, a place where he's already made his mark with unforgettable rides. The NFR has the power to change everything. A strong performance here can make up for a tough season, and Logan Hay knows how to deliver when it counts. He's done it before in Vegas. So now the big question is this: can he make a historic run again? What do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and let us know which cowboy you want us to profile next. We'll see you in the next one.